it's incredible. It's, of course, trying to expand and grow into a different market as well, and bringing it to America, which is a very important market for Wimbledon, and get the American fans involved. And also for people who've never had a chance to be at Wimbledon, to actually bring it here, bring it to Central Park. I mean, it looks beautiful. Everything is set up by the same way as it is in London. So you have the groundskeepers from London have come here to set up the court and make it proper and make it perfect, and just the way it looks, it's beautiful, and we're so excited to be here. This is the first time we get to play on grass in Central Park, and I think it's going to be a really fun event.
Well, what exactly sort of is the aim here? I mean, are they just trying to attract a broader audience, a broader international audience? I mean, we do actually have a big tournament that goes on here in the U.S. every year, the U.S. Open.
I think it's trying to just get Wimbledon outside of, the UK and expand and look into getting more people involved, get the kids involved, and also just kind of, Wimbledon is obviously such an iconic event, a little bit like the Masters, but at the same time, you want to make people feel a part of the event and just get a little taste of what it's like being there, and maybe, hopefully, it will attract people to make the trip over there as well and go see it and go be part of it.
Well, there's plenty of interest in the court that we've set up here, and you can see people milling around and taking photos. I do want to talk about the state of competitive tennis right now. Obviously, you have a very unique perch. You've been involved with the sport for decades at this point. Who are the names, especially on the women's side, that you're going to be watching on the tour this year?
Well, I think we have to talk about Serena. She's coming back. She hasn't played a competitive singles match in, I think it's 4 years. And so for her to come back, it's going to be so fascinating to see, not only as her friend, I love watching her play, but also as a tennis fan. Having the greatest women's player of all time come back on court, coming back and playing in front of the whole world. It's going to be great to see. I'm really rooting for her. I hope that she can get and fight her way into the tournament. It's not always easy once you've had a layoff for a while, but she's come back. She's played some doubles matches. She's feeling great. She's moving well, and so that's going to be really fun to see. And otherwise, Sinner, can he come back after the way that he ended his French Open? He had a heat stroke and he didn't feel well, so it's going to be good to see him come back, and I think he's a heavy favorite on the men's side.
Well, when it comes to Serena, obviously you guys are close friends, and you have a unique perspective on coming back. You did step away from the sport for a number of years, starting in 2020. I mean, what advice would you have for Serena, re-entering the competitive landscape?
Well, I think she doesn't really need my advice. I think she knows exactly what she's doing, but I've talked to her, and I think for her, most importantly, she needs to take care of her body, make sure she can recover well. She has her whole team there, so I know she takes all the right steps, but it's going to feel a lot different after your first proper competitive match. I mean, you're going to feel sore, and especially after playing on grass too, you're lower on your legs, you're going to feel your back, you're going to feel your glutes. It's different, the recovery. You can practice as much as you want, but when you bring in the nerves and the competitiveness, you just go that extra step, and that can feel hard to do that over and over again. But most importantly, I think for Serena, it is to come into this tournament, get some match play under her belt, come out of it healthy, and then I think she's going to be a much bigger threat at the U.S. Open coming up.
I want to talk about the economics of tennis, and obviously Serena, the Williams sisters were a big part of those economics improving over the last couple of decades. We should point out the All England Club this year did actually raise the prize pool by roughly about 20%, but there's a bit of a silent protest that's going to be going on by several of the key players, including Sinner, who are asking for an even larger share of revenue. Right now it's roughly about 15%. Is there some sort of open negotiation where you think that we would start to see a greater share of revenue for the players?
Yeah, I think the whole conversation started at the French Open. They wanted 15% of shared revenue, and it's been a lot less over the years. But every year the Grand Slams keep raising their prize money, but the players think that they should have a bigger cut of the whole pie, which I understand, but at the same time, I mean, this year Wimbledon is raising their prize money so significantly. It's hard, so close to the tournament, to immediately ask for everything. And so I think Wimbledon has really made a big step forward. I think they're showing that they're willing to work with the players. They're willing to move forward in the right direction, that benefits both players and the tournament. I also understand the tournament side of we keep improving facilities and everything else for the players, for the teams, to make sure that they can have the best possible preparations and whatever they would ever need. And so I do think that Wimbledon has really made a big step forward. I think they have shown the players that they're here to talk and to really come to a great understanding. And I do think it's hard now to ask Wimbledon to raise their prize money even more at this point. But, you know, I feel like there's a nice way that you can approach this and moving forward as well. I know US Open will definitely raise their prize money as well. There's a little bit of a competition there between the Grand Slams too. They want to be the best. They want to be the biggest. They want to, you know, have the biggest impact. So I think everyone is hopefully going to come into a nice understanding. But I do think the players at this point should be, I'm not going to say happy, but I think I would be happy that we're moving in the right direction and taking the right steps.
Well, with regards to the overall product, not just Wimbledon, but the tour overall, and I am curious as to sort of in your view, what you think the state of it is in terms of its health, certainly compared to when you were playing and winning matches. Has it changed? Has it improved a lot?
It's changed a lot. I mean, prior to 2009, I turned pro in 2005. In 2009, we had something called a roadmap, the WTA roadmap that came on. We got equal prize money at the Grand Slams as well. We got bigger events, the Masters 1000s, where the prize money went up significantly. It did take a much more of a commitment on the players. There's tournaments that you have to show up to now or you get fined, but at the same time the tournaments were like, okay, we want the best players to get more prize money. You know, we have to work together. I think the state of the game is going in the right direction. We're going into, I mean, we've expanded to China, into the Middle East. We've expanded into all parts of the world as well. So finding that balance of constantly upping the prize money and you know, tennis is a sport, an individual sport. If you don't play, you don't get paid, and it's, you know, there's no guaranteed money. So you have to look at it from the player's perspective of you have such a short career, you don't know how long it's going to last. So obviously you want to make the most prize money as possible so you can live after your tennis career. But at the same time, protecting the players and protecting the tournament. So there's a fine balance. I think we're moving in the right direction. I think Serena and Venus on the women's side have made a huge impact, not only the way they've played, but being on the player council. I was on the player council for years with them, and I think that really pushed the tour in the right direction. There's always improvements that can be made, and it's hard because tennis is, you know, played all over the globe. So there's going to be a lot of traveling involved, but having a global sport, having the biggest women's sport in the world, I think it's the best sport in the world too. It's amazing where we are at the moment.
Well, before we let you go, I am curious to hear a little bit more about your life. As you mentioned, you know, it's a relatively short window in the span of a lifetime where you're playing professional tennis. You went pro in 2005 when you were a teenager. What does life look like for you now, and what is your place in the sport going forward?
Again, I love tennis, so right now I haven't played a competitive match in almost 2 years, and I have 3 little kids. I spend a lot of time with them. They're only little for so long, so I really want to make the most out of it and spend as much time as I possibly can with them. They grow up so fast. But I still like to be involved in tennis, so I still do broadcasting, commentating at the 4 Slams. I do events like this, sponsor activities. So I work maybe about 10 weeks a year, and that really works out well for me and where I'm at the stage of my life.